Welcome, Catholicos, Catholics, Orthodox Christians, all who seek the truth. You see what I'm wearing? You see that? Well, maybe I should stand up. That's from 2016. My t-shirt from 2016. It is the 2020 election coming up Tuesday, in 2 days. It is a very, very, very important election for every Catholic, for every Christian, for every sane person. It is a battle between good and evil, Satan and God himself. And God is using a sinful man who is Trump, because we are all sinful. Nobody is a walking, talking saint. Very, very few indeed. But Trump is now facing, he is our representative against the forces of darkness, the forces of evil, the forces of death and the devil. You might think I'm exaggerating. I am not. This one, for whatever it's worth, even if 10 people listen to me and actually vote for Trump, it's worth making this video. A lot of Catholics will say, or Christians say, oh, I don't like the way he talks. He's very impolite. He's rude. He's mean. He's not too nice. He doesn't conform to the standards. And if that's your problem with him, so what? What is worse? Somebody you don't like, his personality you don't like, or somebody whose party is the party of death, the party of Satan, the party of the demon, the party of hell itself. It is the party of unlimited and unstoppable murder of babies in their mother's wombs. It's the party of the murder, the self-murder of old people, of euthanasia. New York, before the COVID pandemic, passed a law basically allowing the slaughter of the innocents in their mother's womb up to the moment of death. This is the party of Biden. This is the party of Harris. This is the party of Pelosi. This is the party of Schumer. This is the party of the biggest Russiagate liar with the big eyes, Adam, the little shifty Schiff. You know what the rest of it is. He sounds like what we generate after we eat a good meal and we have to go to the bathroom. That is what he is. Now, I was actually never a supporter of Trump in 2016, 2015. It's like, Trump, I don't like him. Why I don't like him? Well, he divorced his first wife. He cheated on her. He married his second one, divorced her, left her, married a third one. So it's like, I'm not going to support that kind of a person. Until, of course, his opponent being a woman who loves a war, who wants to start World War III against Russia and Korea and all these other places. And his predecessor, Obama, bombed Libya and Syria, caused misery and death, causing Libya to have open slave markets up to this very day. And his predecessor, the Bushes, whom, when I watched the debates in 2016, I was like, that's what made me cheer for Trump. He destroyed the Bush legacy. The warmongers, the liars, bringing us into wars through lies. Even the intelligence community and Mueller, who lied to Congress about the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq just to justify an invasion and destruction of a U.S. ally, Saddam Hussein. The U.S. financed, supported, backed, gave poison gas, weapons, missiles to Saddam, their agent in Iraq, to fight his war against Iran. And then they turn against him. The same U.S. who supported, financed, created the Qaeda, and which is actually the Taliban, which were originally the Mujahideen, who fought the Russians. The Mujahideen means the ones who struggle, the Mujahid, and they are themselves the Taliban. Taliban means students. The students of the Quran, the students of Islam, the students of Muhammad. So the US financed, backed, and supplied them with every weapon. And even there was a Rambo movie where Rambo goes and fights with the Taliban against the Russians. So the US finances these things. So Trump says, enough with this shit. Enough with these wars. Enough with this death and destruction for no reason. But of course, the media says, "Oh, it's the international community. You're leaving our allies." What allies? The U.S. spends everything on NATO, basically, the vast majority. And where is the Soviet Union anymore? There is no Soviet Union. There is no Eastern Bloc. There is no Warsaw Pact. But there's still NATO. NATO was there against basically the Warsaw Pact, against the against the Soviet Union. There is no more Soviet Union. There is the fascistic, totalitarian, dictatorial China, which the media loves. They love Xi Jinping, the dictator, the totalitarian emperor of China, who jails, imprisons, quarantines, deports, executes anybody at his will. This is the real dictator, and they call Trump a dictator. I wish Trump was a dictator. At least he could have secured the border. He could have ended the wars immediately. He could have restored manufacturing to the U.S. immediately. He could have ended chaos in the cities by restoring law and order. He could have done so many things. But no. Every time he tries to do something, he is thwarted. He is stopped. He is blocked by so-called Republicans and the Democrats, the evil Democrats, and their henchmen, their tools. Or whose tool is it? The media, the mass media, CNN, MSNBC, all these corporate entities, which all of the US media is controlled by virtually 6 companies, control every form of media. So you're watching your local TV. It is not your local TV. It is owned by the same conglomerate, which is running basically every single form of media you consume. So the only place to see something maybe slightly true is to search yourself or to go through the actual event or the sources. Now, I started losing confidence in the media during Iraq War I, and the lies which were propagated, but I still took them at their word. Well, maybe Saddam was that bad, maybe. But then 2015, 2016 solidified my conviction of the absolute lies, the absolute deception, the absolute evil of the mainstream media, because I stopped watching them for the last year. Very rarely I would turn on the CNN or any of these stations, because they basically repeat the same talking points over and over and over and over and over and over again. There's nothing new under the sun. The only sane person in the mainstream media which I recommend is Tucker Carlson. Now, and why do I say I don't believe them anymore? In 2016, you'd see all the media. Oh, Trump was instigating violence. Trump was, his supporters are beating up. And then you actually, Project Veritas, you can find them on YouTube. They actually had Democrat operatives of Hillary Clinton hiring people to go to Trump rallies to start fights. So they are the instigators of the fights. And then you'd see them taking out of a 2-hour, you know how Trump speaks for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Speaking about a million things. It's an entertainment show. He's raising the morale. He's raising the excitement. And then he might attack his political opponent, Crooked Hillary. And then the whole news cycle on whichever of these fake news outlets. And the Canadian ones are no exception, because all they do is parrot what their bosses at CNN and Reuters and Associated Press say. They are just parrots. They're brain dead parrots. That's what they are. And then what you see is, out of a 2-hour rally, they would focus on one incident, or maybe a minute statement out of a 2-hour speech, and then they twist it and turn it and keep on and talk about it for 7, 8, 9, 10 hours a day to make it seem what it is not, as if this is all that Trump was speaking about, when it is not. And from then on, I just saw deception after a lie after a lie. And when Trump calls them the fake news, they are indeed the fake news. First of all, they will not report good things for Trump or the economy or Americans. They sow division, the media, not Trump, the media. Every single Trump rally, even up to now, there is never a division in his speeches. Always for the American, for the citizens of the country. We want to keep our country safe, our country secure. We want American jobs. We want American industry to flourish. We want the poor Americans to rise up, to get jobs, to have good schooling, to have clean air, to have... And yeah, that brings me out to the what do you call it, the Paris Accord. Oh, he left the Paris Accord. It's the environmental accord. Well, that Paris Accord allowed China and India to pollute as much as they liked, basically. And then the US and the Western countries to cut down on their greenhouse gases, basically destroying the economies of the West while giving China and India unfettered pollution rights, basically. So why should the US or any country adhere to that accord? Indeed, the U.S. Carbon emissions dropped under Trump, significantly dropped under Trump. Is that reported on CNN or the other fake, evil, deceptive media? No, it's not. Of course it's not. And then we have they say, oh, Trump is a racist. He's promoting race hatred. Why? Because somebody says, hey, we need to keep our borders safe. You want to come to the country as an immigrant, you have to apply, like I did, like my parents did. We applied for immigration, and we waited months and months, almost years, before we got approved. And then language examinations, health examinations, how are you going to support yourself, where are you going to stay, blah, 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 blah. A million things until you are allowed to come in. It's not just, hey, like as an immigrant, why should I even bother? Might as well just go across the border and just stay there and work. First of all, so is that racist? No, it's not. First of all, it is actually it helps this policy of actually securing the border and allowing legal immigration to come in, is to help those who are less advantaged in the country. Poor Americans, which are actually a lot of white Americans are poor, and a lot of black Americans, a lot of Hispanic Americans are very poor, underprivileged. They don't have good jobs. Why is that? The invasion of illegal immigration, which drives down wages. And what does that affect? Affect American citizens. They suffer the consequences of oversupply of work. This is called economics 101. When you have too much supply, then why should I pay for that? The price goes down. Too much of the thing, the price goes down. So why should I pay somebody $20 an hour when I can pay somebody $5? I wouldn't. So the whole rate of income goes down. So it actually hurts Black Americans, Hispanic Americans, even the poor white Americans. So this is just pure lies. And I can go out for hours and hours and hours about the lies of the media. And of course, every time Trump tries to leave a war zone, an illegal, useless war, like in Syria, Afghanistan. And actually, before I go into that, he already had made peace deals. Do you hear that on CNN? No, you don't. Do you hear that on MSNBC? No, you don't. Do you hear that on CBC News in Canada? No, you don't. Do you hear that on BBC? Hardly. Maybe a word here and there. He made deals between Israel and Oman and even Sudan lately and Qatar, I believe. I'm not sure. But anyway, several, I think there are 3 peace deals between Israel and Middle Eastern countries. And more are coming. More are on the way. He already had, was it a few months ago, he already had to deal with the Taliban in Afghanistan to withdraw troops and create a reconciliation there. Do you hear that? No, you don't. He did a peace deal between Serbia and the Serbs and the Albanians in Kosovo. Again, do you hear anything about that? No, you don't. He is the peacemaker, and Christ says, blessed are the peacemakers. And he as well tries to get out of war zones every time he tries to pull out troops out of Syria. Magically, just about Trump is about to get out, magically, Assad just gassed his own population. Oh, by magic. When the U.S. is about to leave and let him have total victory, he gasses his own population. Do you believe that lie? And actually it was proven to be a lie. But of course, the mainstream evil, deceptive media won't report it. And then every time he tries to leave, reduce the troops in Syria, in Iraq, in Afghanistan, and even moving troops out of Western Europe, reduce our military presence there, all the deep state which it exists, which is meaning the bureaucracy, those who are entrenched, who don't care. President comes, president goes. Congress comes, Congress goes. Senate comes, Senate goes. They are there all the time. They are the real government. They rose against him. How dare you leave? Even I think the military says, well, Trump says reduce troops to 2,000. No, we're going to have a look at it. We're going to examine it. He is the commander-in-chief, isn't he? Isn't his word? Isn't he the dictator? Even though he's the commander-in-chief of the army. So it is his function, his duty, his ability to actually tell you, get every single troop out of there now, and you have to do it. The military does not rule. The intelligence community does not rule. The spies do not rule. It is the civil authority which rules, supposedly. But what's the truth? The truth of the matter, every time he tries to leave, not only the bureaucrats, the deep state, but the media, the evil puppet media attacks him. So they attack a man who's trying to make peace, attack a man who's trying to bring American troops home to their families, kids to their parents, husbands to their wives. They attack him. And then they attack him for talking to dictators. He's talking to dictators. This is how peace is made. You don't make peace with friends. You make peace with enemies. That's how it is. If you instigate, if you attack an enemy, what do you expect? Do you expect peace or do you expect war? But of course, the media loves war. They want to see bombs blowing up things. And then they can... there's an Arabic saying, says... عاوزين جنازة ويشبعوا فيها لطم, which means they want a funeral so they can go out and say, they want that. They want a funeral. They want war so they can just keep on harping about it. So that's the media. And you can double check everything I've said that. They call him a racist. Oh, he supported these evil Nazis, the neo-Nazis in Charlottesville, which is, again, a big fat lie. Like Scott Adams shows, all you have to do is actually read the transcript of exactly what Trump said. He actually condemned them. He said because that time was a rally for freedom, a rally to keep our statues, a rally to maintain the history of the nation. It wasn't a neo-Nazi, but there was a group of them. So when Trump said, well, there are good people from both sides, people who don't want the statues, people who want the statues, that's what he meant. Because in the exact same transcript, he actually condemns the neo-Nazis. But of course, the media cuts that part out. That shows you the deception, the lies, the evil of these people. They cut that out and then they keep on harping upon a lie, which actually Joe Biden repeated. That brain-dead, evil piece of shit, Joe Biden. And and they say, oh, he's a racist. Again, as I said, never have I heard one word Trump instigating division or hatred among American citizens. He is talking about the citizenry of the U.S., of every race and color and creed. But if you listen to the news, what do you see? What do you hear on the news? What do you hear on CNN, all the rest of them? They are the ones who divide the people. They are the ones who say, well, Latino Americans, oh, women of color, oh, Asian Americans, oh, college-educated white suburban women. They are the ones who are constantly creating divisions. They create divisions and instigate hatred through their lies. That is what the media is. So, And actually, I mean, have you noticed lately? First of all, in 20, well, like right now, they started this new term, which I haven't heard in forever. Well, when did it start? Maybe a year ago. People of color. She's a woman of color. He's a man of color. Never before that it was like African American or a black guy, or black woman. That's it. Now it's a person of color, which are they're going back, these racists, the real racists, the Democrat Party, and the racists in the media, their allies, are going back to the 40s and 30s. Oh, the colored people. Here are washrooms for the colored men. Here are washrooms for the colored women. Colored people must sit in the back of the bus. So now instead of saying the colored people, they're saying people of color. Wow, so inventive, so smart, so, innovative. They are innovative in their lives, aren't they? And of course, you see the media. Like, oh, Trump is causing all this chaos. Look at the cities burning. Who is burning? Oh, that which reminds me of the 2016, which is basically the repeated lie. Oh, the alt-right. Again, I've been watching politics for all my life, basically since I was 8 years old, with my dad watching the Soviet Union and Eastern Germany and all that stuff. And suddenly, out of nowhere, in 2015 or 2016, the alt-right, something magical appeared. What is this? The hell is alt-right? Alternative right? Is that what it means? Well, if alternative right means not the right of the Republican corrupt establishment, if the alt-right means get out of wars and concentrate on your own country and secure your own border and have more of a national trade policy and care about your own citizens, well, then I am alt-right, if that's what alt-right means. But of course, they are vague. That's how they deceive you. Alt-right, alt-right. They come up with terms to scare people as if it's some kind of a neo-Nazi group, and they don't exist. You watch their evil lies, these media. Oh, hey, Trump, why won't you condemn white supremacy? The white supremacist threat to the U.S. What the hell are you talking about? There is no such thing. If it is in the thousands, in the few thousands, in the country of 350 million. What white supremacy? What dangers? Every single riot, every single destruction, looting, murder, which has happened in the last 8 months, from March 2020 up to now, and even before then, last year there was in 2019 and 2018, there was these leftists, left-wing socialists. They call themselves anti-fascists when they themselves are the fascists. That's how the media is. They call Trump a racist when they are the racist. They call Trump a warmonger when they are the warmongers. Like Hillary would accuse, and the Democrats would accuse Trump of collusion with the Russians when they themselves are the ones who colluded with the Russians to create the Steele dossier. When they say, oh, Trump won't accept the results of the elections, it is they did not accept the results of 2016, and they probably won't accept the results of 2020. They accuse Trump and his supporters of what they are. The exact opposite of the truth. Every single riot and destruction, even just recently in Philadelphia, who is it? Antifa and BLM. They are the ones burning, looting, destroying, not in Democrat-run states and cities. And then the Democrat mayors would stop the police from intervening and stopping the riots, the destruction, the looting. And then, of course, they have to blame Trump, as if he had anything to do with it. If Trump was a dictator, he could send in the army and stop this in 5 minutes. But of course, he's not, and he can't do it. So that shows you the evil of the media itself. And again, for us, why would a Catholic or a Christian want to support Trump? He is on our side. He defends our right for freedom of religion, for freedom of assembly, to open the churches, to open our businesses, to live our lives without being subdued by the tyrannical, totalitarian, Nazi, fascistic, social. The Nazis are socialists, just so you guys know. Nazis is the National Socialists of Germany. The communists were the international socialists. So now we have a coalition between the National Socialists, which is like Antifa, and the Chinese. They're National Socialists. And of course the international socialists like Soros and the clan and the media, who want international socialism and the UN. So they're not right-wing. They're not conservative. Indeed, Hitler overthrew the conservative government in Germany. They were the conservatives. They were the right wing because he was a socialist, a national socialist. So I forgot what I was talking about, but anyways, so yeah. So Trump, for us, he is instead of the party of death, which is the Democrats, the party of the murder of the unborn, which is the Democrats, the party of the slaughter of the old, because their lives are useless anymore because they're too old. Let's kill them off or let them kill themselves off. That's the Democrats. That is the party of death. Trump is the most pro-life president in the history of the US. And of course, not every decision I support. For example, right now with this so-called pandemic, where we have a 6% of the numbers actually coded are the ones who actually died from the virus, the magic virus, as the CDC itself says. He's pushing he's promoting vaccines. New innovative vaccinations, an mRNA vaccine, which has never ever been promoted. But it's not only him. Every other one, Fauci, Gates, Birx, all of them were promoting these same companies. So I know Trump originally was a vaccine skeptic in the before the 2016 election. Now he's saying, "Oh, the vaccines are coming. Vaccines are coming." At this point, of course, again, Trump will not force us to take any experimental, rushed, probably dangerous vaccine, because they're experimental. Even the trials, people are dying, people are getting severe side effects, and now we're supposed to, hey, let's go line up and take the vaccine to stop us, to reduce the risk against a mild attack of the magic virus. I won't. And you'd be stupid to do so yourself, because it won't protect you against a severe attack. Actually, that's exactly what the criteria for approval of the effectiveness of these vaccines. So Trump is pushing, saying, oh yeah, vaccines are coming, vaccines are coming. I think he's doing this just basically as a political stunt, as to calm the fears, to say, people, you want the vaccine? Okay, fine, it's coming. You can take it. But we're going to open up, let people live their lives, let people return to normal, to the real normal, not to the fake, totalitarian, evil, satanic new normal, where they want to track you, keep you, spy on you, do everything that Hitler himself would have dreamed of being able to do. But of course, now they can with the technology we're facing. So, I mean, I can go on and on and on. But again, if you want to know what, you hear something, don't take it at face value of what the media says. Oh, Trump says, oh, go drink bleach. Did he really? Did he really? Show me the full quote. Show me the full transcript. And you'll find he didn't. Trump said, do whatever. Yeah, did he really? Actually, show me the full thing. Show me the full quote. And you'll find that 99.9% of the time they lie, or they omit certain parts to give that impression. Oh, Trump insulted this governor. Well, that governor is being a dictator, suppressing her people, destroying businesses and lives. The High Court, the Supreme Court in her state overrules her, and she will not obey the law. Shows you who is the real dictator, who's the real evil people. So now this in case Trump wins, great. This video is gonna again still be relevant to keep you, don't fall for what the talking head parrots on television say. If you want to know the truth, go for the full context. Do some research yourself. There's a lot of good YouTube commentators who actually go beyond the little 1 minute quote, and that's the news. That is not a news. You can make any news from any quote you want. And and if Trump wins, the attacks will continue, and probably the media wants him really to win, because who are they going to beat up on for another 4 years? What, Joe Biden? It's going to be boring. There's nothing to talk about. There's nothing to talk about. That shows you the fake media. There's plenty of talk to talk about. If you look at some international news stations, there are wars in Africa, revolutions, riots, all kind in every single part of the world. There is news to be reported, but they don't. The news, they don't. All they do is harp on Trump as if that is the end all and be all of every single news cycle in the world, which is, of course, a lie, because they are liars. And what more do you expect from liars? And of course, their lies, they create division, hatred, depression, sadness, anxiety. Who's creating that? Not Trump. It is the lying media with their lies and their constant generation of hatred and of tension and of division. Who's creating that? It's the media. It is the lying media, not Trump. So Trump, God willing, and it is upon each and one of us to go out and vote. He needs a massive landslide. Not for him, but every single Republican, even though who are not really with Trump, they will be loyal to him because they will win because of him, not because of them. If we have a massive red wave, a massive landslide, House, Senate, presidency, and governorships of different states, a red landslide, then things will kind of simmer down and move on forward. If the race is close, if the count is close, there are going to be court cases, division, rioting might come anyways, because the democracy loving liberal Antifa and BLM, of course, supplied by money by who knows who, a certain Hungarian, of course, will continue to destroy cities. And if there are still Democrat mayors, they're going to let the destruction continue. So it's time to kick out all these Democrat mayors, Democrat governors, Democrat attorney generals, and install Republicans and more like Trump Republicans. But we need a massive landslide. And I hope my little video, my little rant, does even just push a few of you to go out and vote. Don't rely on others to vote. You need to do it yourself. Get your friends, your relatives, everybody you know. Go out, vote, and give us the victory, because it is a battle between good and evil, between Satan and God, between the agents of the devil and the instrument of God. That's it. That's all. Hope you like this video, and I'll see you after the election. Bye-bye.